Hello, everyone, and of course, breaking news. Professor Yakubu Mahmud, or should I say Professor Mahmud Yakubu, has finally left office. Yeah, he has completed his 2 terms in office, although he's supposed to officially resign by December. But you usually know they have this 3 months terminal leave that they go on, and so he bows out and he has handed over to May Agbamuche, who is now the INEC acting chairman. Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, according to the report here by channels, is leaving office as INEC chairman, having completed his 2 term tenure of 10 years. It's 5 years each, and so he did 5 years, before, and then now he's completing another 5 years. That makes it 10 years. So I'm here thinking, oh yeah, that's quite true, because it was actually Buhari, that appointed him after Mahmoud Jega. Agbamuche is the oldest serving national commissioner in the electoral body. Professor Yakubu announced this on Tuesday at the ongoing meeting with resident electoral commissioners at the INEC headquarters in Abuja. He solicited the support of the commissioners and directors of the commission for Agbamuche until the appointment of a substantive chairman. Professor Mahmoud Yakubu is leaving office as INEC chairman, having completed his 2 term tenure of 10 years. Tinubu is expected to appoint his successor soon, subject to a Senate confirmation. That's to tell you how important the National Assembly is, the Senate is. You can't have an appointment like this without their, confirmation. And so when we are looking at this, most time we tend to neglect the people that we are sending to the Senate, the people that we are sending to the National Assembly. Yakubu was first appointed the INEC chairman by former President Muhammadu Buhari to oversee the activities of the electoral umpire in November 2015, 6 months after he assumed the office as the president. He completed his first term as the electoral body's chairman in 2020 and was reappointed for a second term by President Buhari. Yakubu's reappointment by President Buhari made him the first person to serve as INEC chairman for 2 terms. He took over from Professor Tahiru Jega, with INEC conducting many elections, including 2019 and 2023 general election. That was election that of course, where Professor Mahmoud, Professor no, okay, now Professor Yakubu would have been able to distinguish himself as someone who sat and ran an election and protected the mandates of the people. It should have been whoever it is that the people wanted. Unfortunately, we saw how all of that went. The same Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, that went around the world telling people to trust him, that he was going to ensure that IREV is used, he was going to ensure transparency, free, fair, credible election. But when the 2023 election came, we saw how the hest that was done, the stealing of the people's mandate, that was done in broad daylight. And he has announced Tinubu as if it was a thief announcing something in the middle of the night. And today, what people tend to forget is that sooner or later, they get out of office. And it is the office is there. What remains now is the legacy. You would have had an amazing legacy. It's not about, for me, I've always said this and I'm going to say it again. It's not about who is it that won the election, but that the election was free, fair, credible. If the people's mandate had been counted, it mattered. And then the result turned out to what it is now. Oh, fine. It is the people's choice. But when the people's mandate is stolen and anyhow kind of result is put it out there, it becomes something else. But sooner or later, 10 years is just like tomorrow if there's life. That 10 years has come to pass. And what is it that he would be remembered for? With Yakubu having completed his tenure at the helm of INEC Affairs, Nigerians, along with civil society organizations, are looking forward to see who succeeds him. Anytime from now, Tinubu is expected to nominate a substantive successor to Yakubu, and civil society groups are already demanding transparency in the process. And one of the things that also a lot of people are demanding is that a president in Nigeria should not have the power to be able to appoint the INEC chairman, who is going to be an umpire in something that either he or his party are going to be participant in. That's an anomaly. There must be somewhere that is removed. But of course, for that to happen, it has to go to the National Assembly. They are the ones who are going to now have to make this change. Last month, the Social Economic Rights and Accountability Project (SERAP) urged Bola Tinubu to urgently disclose details of the selection and appointment process for the successor to Professor Mahmud Yakubu. SERAP urged the Tinubu to disclose the number and names of candidates for INEC chairman and whether the Council of State has been consulted or would be consulted in making the appointment as constitutionally required. The group stated this in a letter by its Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare as a copy obtained by Channels Television. Well, this also there's a lot that is being said. According to the letter, let me just go on and look. According to the letter dated September 27, the group asked Tinubu to use the opportunity of the appointment of a new INEC chairman to reconsider your appointment of at least 3 alleged members of the All Progressive Congress APC as resident electoral chair commissioners of the INEC and to nominate non-members of a political party as replacement. The selection and appointment process for Mr. Yakubu's replacement cannot and should not be a closed shop. A transparent and accountable process would serve legitimate public interest, the letter partly read. Also commenting on the appointment of a new INEC chairman, the executive director of Yaga Africa, Samson Itodo, said that Nigeria needs an individual with an unblemished character as the national chairman of the electoral body. Itoro said anyone who will succeed Yakubu should have no political affiliation and be courageous to do the lawful thing, no matter whose ox is God. The Yaga Africa leader spoke when he appeared as a guest on Channels Television Politics Today on Wednesday, 24th, 2025. He also noted that remarkable reforms recorded by INEC has been dampened by electoral fraud. Just for me to add also is that there was this rumor that had been going around. They were like, oh, the reason why INEC chairman is being removed by Tinubu is because he decided to go and do new parties against Tinubu's wish. He decided to go and say he is insisting on the electoral reforms he will pass. I beg, that's a huge lie. His tenure, somebody come and say his tenure is a lie. His tenure has expired. He has to leave. It is 10 years. You hear what they say, he came in November 2015. It's expired. And this one is 3 months of terminal leave that we normally will go to before the main expiration. So there's nothing like, oh, Tinubu is fighting him, they're fighting, not at all. The fact that all these things they're saying that, oh, Tinubu doesn't want that new parties were registered, it's a lie. This was the same thing they were saying when they were fighting him over IREF, saying that there must not be electronic transmission of results. All of us, we thought that, oh, true, there was a fight. Meanwhile, behind the scene, they knew what they were doing. So please, forget all of that thing. Don't try to whitewash, Yakubu Mahmud, Professor Yakubu Mahmud. He has done what he has to do, but at the end of the day, he has had to leave. He has left now. He will live with his legacy wherever good or bad, and then there will be another one to come in. For me, I always say to anybody, if you have the opportunity and responsibility to be in a position, what you must ensure is that you do something that even 100 years after you are dead, that you'll be remembered for those things. Otherwise, it would have been useless whatever number of years you spent in office. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.